Hi everyone, welcome again to Bake Your Way Kitchen. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a vegan cookie actually, and this is a Nutrition Powerhouse cookie. There's a lot going on here. It's so adaptable in so many ways, and actually, as I mentioned, it is vegan because there's no dairy, no eggs, for the most part, and it's all great ingredients. And it's very easy. It's a simple 2-bowl recipe. You have your dry ingredients in one, you have your wet in the other, and then you mix it together, put it in the oven, and you're done. There are a lot of ingredients in here, so I'll quickly go over them. So right here I've got some whole wheat flour, and to that I'm going to add cinnamon and some salt, preferably sea salt. Now, when you look at on the site bakeyourway.com, you'll notice that it says 2 1/4 teaspoons of salt, and you may be going that I made a mistake, and I'm not. This has got a bit more salt than a traditional cookie. This is a special spice cookie. It's actually very common in Turkey. Actually, I traveled to Turkey, and this is one of the baked goods that they would always have. It's usually called a cosmic cookie, and basically there's just a lot of seeds, a lot of powerhouse ingredients. So I got my dry ingredients. Those are all the dry ingredients. So now I just want to go over the fillers before I go into the liquid ingredients. I've got, and this is completely adaptable, I've got some sunflower seeds over here. I've got some sunflower kernels, some pecan halves, a couple tablespoons of chia seed mix, and some flax seed. And I've got dark chocolate here. And instead of using coconut, which is a typical ingredient used in a seed cookie like this, I decided to use white chocolate because I find dark chocolate and white chocolate go well together. And I'm going to be serving this to some people that are not huge fans of coconut, so I thought I'd leave it out. So as you can see, it's very easy. Right here I've got some almond milk, or you could use soy milk instead, or you could use dairy milk, but we're going to keep this vegan. I've got some flavorless oil here, a little bit of water if needed, and some molasses. Now make sure for molasses or anything sticky like molasses, honey, corn syrup, or whatever it is you're using that's thick and sticky, when you're putting it in a bowl, just grease that bowl before you put it in, because otherwise it's going to make a mess if you're using a measuring cup. But actually measuring molasses is easy by weight. Don't mess up a measuring cup because it's so messy measuring it in those silly measuring cups. Rule of thumb is that basically that a 1/4 cup of molasses is 80 grams. So there's a 1/4 cup here, that's 80 grams, and I just put it on the scale. I don't even need to worry about putting getting out my measuring cups. Anyway, let's get started on this. So we've got our dry ingredients here. So what I'm going to do now is in our other bowl here, and unfortunately I don't have a clear bowl still. I'm going to get one, but for now I've got just the stainless steel here. I'm going to add in my oil, and to that I'm going to add in as well the molasses, and most of it should come out pretty easily. Molasses is just one of those things, even if you add cooking spray, it still loves to stick. It's probably the best we'll do. And I'm going to add my my milk, sorry. I'm going to give this a quick mix. So I got my molasses, milk, and oil. So basically you'll see the color turns very quickly to this like very orangey, brownish color. I'd recommend doing this by hand, otherwise you're going to make a mess of your entire kitchen. The molasses, it is very liquidy right now, so the molasses might not fully dissolve in the liquid. That's fine. It will once we've added in the other ingredients. I'm going to add in our sugar, and this is 1 cup. This is actually a granulated brown sugar. For this recipe, I would highly recommend using a good quality brown sugar. You can use white sugar if you want. or a regular brown sugar, but I just think it makes a world of a difference if you use a good quality sugar. And I know that sounds, I mean, I don't usually buy like this. The one I'm using right now is this organic light brown sugar, and I can tell you I've used it already in a few things that I've been baking, and I really love the flavor that comes from it versus a traditional brown sugar. Alright, so we've got our ingredients here. The water we may need in a second, we'll wait and see, because, you know, with all flour and mixtures, it's a little bit different. Especially, you can really be versatile with it. Obviously, all the ingredients are at bakeyourway.com, so you can see the amounts I've used for each. There's just so many, I feel like I might make a mistake, so just go to the site and you can print out the recipe here. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, these are rolled oats. Now, you could use fast cooking. That's absolutely fine, or instant. However, I would recommend using the old-fashioned rolled oats, like the thick, large ones, because they have a more chewy texture. And if you're looking for a chewy cookie, that's what you want. The other thing you want to do right now is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. So now let's get started. We got all our dry ingredients here. We have our liquid base. This is our liquid base. So what I would recommend is add in some of the flour, not all of it, because we don't want to overmix this cookie. So just give it a quick mix. And with that, I'm going to add in I'll just add in all my oats. It's still going to be very runny because, well, we still have some more stuff to add in, of course. So now I'm going to add in more of the flour, and as well as you're mixing, add in some of the seeds, chocolate, or most of them. This is a very dense cookie. There's a lot going on. You can see already how thick it is, and we haven't even gotten to all the ingredients yet. Depending on the size, this will make quite a few cookies, I would say. Alright, so we're going to add the last bit of flour and the last bit of our ingredients. And we're just going to mix this all together. And I've got the water here because this has got a lot of stuff going on. You're going to see in a second. It's a beautiful, beautiful recipe. Like, take a look at all those colors. You just don't get that with regular cookies. And these pack, for a cookie, they pack a lot more nutrition than a regular chocolate chip cookie or a sugar cookie, because we've got those seeds and we've got the nuts that add that protein and healthy fats that you would not normally get with a regular cookie. So, this is our batter. I'm going to add a little bit of water, maybe a few tablespoons, just to loosen it up a bit. And that's completely optional. It's based on your discretion. You want it to be fairly thick, but if it's just not working for you, if you can't even move this batter, then just add a little bit of water. Just add the rest here. Alright, so then once you've done that, we are good to go. This is our batter, and we are ready to bake them off. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean up here. We have our batter done, and we are going to go ahead and bake off the cookies. Alright, so I've got a cookie sheet out here, and basically what you want to do is basically we are going to be putting the cookies on this baking sheet. I've got right here a 1/4 cup cookie scoop or ice cream scoop or whatever. You could use up to 1/3 of a cup, or I mean, it really is up to you. For these cookies, you generally, it's not like a chocolate chip cookie where you use like a 2 teaspoon measure. Because there's like seeds and a lot of bulk ingredients, we generally make larger cookies for these. So basically, I mean, you can use 2 spoons and like kind of make them like golf ball size maybe. But I find just getting a cookie scoop, they're like $70 at the most. It just saves a lot of time, and I find you just get a more uniform cookie. I mean, some people like them to be a little off, but that's your preference. I've got a piece of parchment paper. There's no butter or anything on here, so you want to make sure, even though there is the oil, they might stick if you don't add parchment paper. Parchment paper is a huge savior. So take a look at that. So that's what you're looking for. So you can see these are large cookies, but we're going to get quite a few out of here. I would say we're going to get probably at least 30. So if you want, you can, of course, that's my oven. You can, of course, half the recipe. Now, one other thing I was going to mention, just as I'm starting to scoop these on, is regarding the seeds and stuff. Really, I mean, you could even, instead of some of the nuts that I was using here, you could use raisins, or instead of the white chocolate that I did use, you could just use coconut. It's really, really up to you, and that's what I love about these cookies, is that it's not like you're not set in stone to a recipe. You can use the stuff you've got, and a lot of these ingredients I was low on, and I basically just put it all together and said, I hope this works, and just go from there. I mean, that's how you gotta look at baking. It's it's really great when you have that flexibility, because oftentimes in baking you don't. Like, it can be very set in stone, the things that you can do. So when you can kind of mix it up, it's kind of nice. So I'm going to make sure I leave some room. These are not going to spread a whole lot. We haven't added any leavening agents like baking soda and stuff, so you won't be expecting too much rise or anything like that. One thing we're going to do, I'm going to continue to put these on my baking sheet, but I will be flattening them out, simply because they won't spread easily without flattening them. So you can be rest assured they're not going to be spreading much further than you flatten them, but they will spread a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to scoop these on, and I will show you what they look like before they go in the oven. Alright, so as you can see, I finished rolling them out and I flattened them down, as you can see. Now, so take a look there, that's how big they are. They might expand a little, but very little. I'm only making a dozen right now. I've put the rest of the dough here, and actually, now that I look at it, I'll probably get another, probably close to a dozen out of this as well. So based on the size I did it, it's about 2 dozen cookies. But these are nice, big, healthier cookies, I should say. I tried a taste of the dough, and it's very delicious. It's not too sweet, and it's just right. And it's a perfect combination of the nuts and the seeds and the chocolate. You could use a little less chocolate, maybe. I kind of used a bit more than maybe I should have, but you know, so far it tastes great, but we'll see what the final result is. I'm going to put these in my oven for somewhere probably between 17-22 minutes. Looking in that range, you're looking for them to be golden brown, to obviously set, and to develop a little bit of color. And anyway, I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. This is my knife. Alright, so as you can see, our cookies are fully baked, and I'll just zoom in on some of them. They're absolutely delicious. If you pull them apart, they're nice and chewy. If you break it, oh, it's still nice and warm. That's the inside, and it just looks fantastic. I am going to just take a bite. It's so good. It's nice and chewy. It's a good combination of flavors. I would highly recommend it. It's a flavorful cookie. There's a lot more to it than a traditional chocolate chip cookie. I think you should definitely give it a try using a lot of the nuts and seeds you have on hand. It's a great source for protein. Let me know what you think, and please do check the website bakeyourway.com for full recipe details and for more. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.